A few years ago, Jeremy and Mira Thompson decided to ditch the lives they knew for a nomadic, minimalist lifestyle. We wanted more time to see family, travel, and live in the moment, so we got married and hit the road for a couple of years, part of which we spent in a mini school bus. We fell in love with the freedom, but eventually found ourselves wanting a home base near our families. They loved their little school bus. Mira describes how it would give the people they met on the road the happy, nostalgic feeling, and they wanted to continue to inject that into their home but knew it would need some work to make it livable long-term. So Jeremy pulled from his years of auto body and carpentry experience to transform the bus into a sweet cedar cabin. The narrow home doesn't have much open space, but doesn't lack much else. There's room for 2 queen beds, the living room, kitchen, and a surprising amount of storage. And functional design choices marry beautifully with charming design. For instance, the back window floods the house with light, and is actually made out of a reclaimed door. And the fairy-tale-like sleeping alcove gains privacy from a wall that also houses 11 drawers. Plus, the home's flexibility and lack of a mortgage has allowed Jeremy, Mira, and new daughter Carrie to park the bus on a family-owned lake. It's the beauty of tiny living, says Mira. It gives you the extra nudge to get off the couch and outside into nature for your community. When we hear of vans and school buses converted into full-time homes for people, we often think of cash-strapped students, three-wheeling travelers on the festival circuit, or maybe couples looking for a bit of an adventure on the road. We don't usually think of a young family of 3 living out of an old school bus, but that's exactly what Jeremy and Mira Thompson of Key Peninsula, Washington, are doing with their 2-year-old daughter Carrie. With a lot of imagination, design savvy and skillful craftsmanship, they've managed to transform this vehicle into a whimsical, modern cottage on wheels. We get a 2-part tour from the couple themselves. What's most striking about this project is the fact that the cottage was built directly into the bus frame. The couple worked on their current home over the space of 2 years. Previously, they had done a simpler version of a RV converted from a smaller bus, living on the road for a couple of years. They loved the experience and decided to take the plunge by putting their efforts into doing a bigger and better version, suitable for a baby that was now on the way. As Mira tells the San Francisco Globe, after living the typical, fast-paced Western lifestyle, the idea of living simply intentionally began to appeal to Jeremy and me more. We wanted more time to set aside for family, travel and to live in the moment. So after 8 years together, we got married and hit the road, living nomadically for a couple of years. We fell in love with our new lives and the freedom we had found and decided not to go back. But we did find ourselves wanting the home base close to our families. Mira masterminded the floor plan and interior design, while Jeremy put his extensive experience in auto body work and carpentry to good use, handcrafting everything from the charming caravan-style bed, to refurbishing the gorgeous antique wood stove sitting across the low seat, the lovely space. Even more clever is the fact that the wheel wells are hidden under both the wood stove and low seat. The layout is spacious and thoughtful. The sleeping nook is packed with storage drawers galore, and above sits a loft for hanging out and for guests to stay over. The kitchen feels substantial, like a real kitchen. There's a counter especially designed for little Carries to sit at, and the cupboards painted with chalkboard paint are a great idea. Another great detail is how Jeremy has installed the so-called bump or removable panel right where the circular window sits, which will allow the family to add an extension door veranda if it's ever necessary. It's smart to keep the options open like this, especially when it comes to tiny spaces. Currently, the bus is stationary in its location beside a vacation home. No indication if this is a friend's or family's place or their own until the couple finds their ideal property to permanently move onto. Jeremy says that the point is to experiment a bit with creative possibilities. We also believe that creativity is essential to stay young at heart and in body. It seems like such a common thing in our culture for the years to slip by as we are consumed by the daily tasks of working to live in homes way bigger than we can even appreciate or afford. We decided instead to work pretty hard for a couple of years, expanding our minds in creativity, to give us a place that meets all our needs beautifully, while still nudging us to get off the couch, out of the house and out to live our lives. As we've said time and time again, while tiny homes aren't for everyone, it's nevertheless great to see families creating their own inspiring versions of the ideal home. all earnest alternatives to what's conventional and expected.